My name is Ian Cummings. I'm an associate producer on Madden Gameplay. So the next-gen transition for Madden was definitely a tough one. You know, we had a lot of core rewrites that had to go into place, a brand new animation system. Never easy. You know, the hardware was very tough at the beginning. You know, I was part of that team the whole time, and very, very strenuous project. You know, and so losing a lot of features along the way really has been tough for us. So you know, now starting with 08, we're really back to full force. You know, we've added a lot of the features we had missing, if not all of them, and then we've gone way over the top from any year we've ever done before in terms of new functionality, new control, new features, etc. You know, control is such a big part. You can't rely on animations to take you everywhere. You want to have procedural solutions. You want to be able to react immediately if there's a threat. You want catches to be responsive. You know, you don't want beauty overlooked, but you've got to have both. You know, you can't just have one. So this year, you know, a big goal of mine was dynamic gameplay, which means just never losing control as much as possible. You know, we achieved that with a lot of different features, but you know, gang tackling is a big part of it. Being able to be tackled at any time, to break any tackle at any time. You know, those are major changes to the way the game's played. You know, there's a lot of other things with Mario running, which we talk about. I call it Luigi running now. You know, running into the back of the pile, why do you have to run in place? You should be able to push the pile, you should be able to branch out of that at any time, be tackled. There's a lot of cool things there. When you talk about games that are kind of an inspiration, you know, my biggest one this year has been NBA Street Home Court. I've met a lot with those guys. Their animation technology is absolutely the forefront. They're using Ant, the same tool we are, to its power. I mean, they have everything that you could ever want. We're trying to get to that as well, but we took a lot of that same technology. You know, you can branch an animation at any time. There's no reason to play it through its entirety. You know, you can branch out and use IK. You know, another technology that we've implemented there to actually be able to clean up the look. So you have control and then you don't lose on the visuals. So IK is inverse kinematics, which means nothing to most people. But it's just the technology to reach and stretch you know, joints of the skeleton. Foot pinning is our big usage for it. You know, guys will, a lot of times their feet will go through the ground. When they plant, it doesn't necessarily look realistic because they're kind of sliding as they do so. I mean, that's just the nature of animation. You can't not have that happen. IK fixes basically all of that by pinning the player's feet to the ground. When they make a cut, they're actually going to have to plant now. And it's not a canned animation. You don't lose any control. It's all procedural. And you know, that's what we're using it for. There's a lot of reasons to be scared of the elite players now in Madden, you know, and this is something we've always wanted to achieve, and it's something that we've just been limited before. You know, we can add new ratings now that can really differentiate a player at all levels of his game. You know, there's no reason to say that John Lynch could be a just great defender. He's actually great at what he does. He's really great at zone coverage. He's really great at, you know, big hits and sniffing out the play. We have ratings to do all that now. So now John Lynch is not just a global great defender. He's actually great in situations. Champ Bailey is going to shut you down. I mean, his press rating, his man coverage ratings are through the roof. If you put some scrub receiver over there that's just really fast, because that's what you could do in the past, he's going to shut him down. He's not going to get off the line. Champ's going to stick with him the whole way. You know, on the other same token, if you've got an elite receiver over there and some scrub DB covering him, he's going to break him right at the route. He's going to break him right at the line. He's going to be trailing the entirety of the play. So you really have to play to your strengths there. And I think it's really emulated, you know, not throwing. You have shut down corners now. I mean, these guys are locked their players up the entire time. So you've got to start looking at different ways to match up and get better, I don't want to say exploits, but you got to get a better matchup against the defense. So I'll talk about too, Madden 07. You take a running back, you take a halfback dive play, everyone's going to block their man that's in front of them. You're going to run straight up the hole, you're going to get tackled, and that's the end of the play, right? A tackle animation starts, and that's it, play's over. So now Madden 08, I mean, there's just a million things that have changed now, but number one, you know, you've got true zone blocking if need be. I mean, halfback dive's a bad example, but anything with a stretch, you're going to see them double team, they're going to look for the next level. The animations look incredible. The D tackle will know to actually bring these guys down. He's not looking to make a play on the ball carrier. He's looking to bring the double team with him so that the linebacker can come through and make a play. Ultra realism there. And I'll even talk about our engineer that's putting this together was actually an offensive lineman. He played in the CFL. He directed these motion capture shoots. He's implemented the feature himself. All the pre-play matchups of how they choose how to block. I mean, that's tough stuff to learn. You can't just be a game producer. You really have to be in depth into the offensive line play and coaching, and so he's done that all himself. But then going outside of that, I mean, you don't run into the back of a lineman anymore if you do. You actually push the pile. If you have a big bruising back, he's going to really push the pile farther. If you have an agile back, he may slip off of the side and branch out. Again, that all uses branching technology, so you can branch out early if you want. You can be tackled out of that as well, so it's not like you get a guaranteed 3-yard gain when it starts. And then lastly, the dynamic gang tackling that happens after that. If you break out and you have a guy tackling you right at the line and you're falling forward, I mean, there's nothing to say another defender couldn't come up and push you backward. Like I said, Madden 07, you tackled, end of play. You could set the controller down while he finished his tackle. Now there's a whole new dynamic to it. You can actually break out of that. He can come tackle you. A lot more there. So this year you're going to see a lot of the wow moments, and I'm really proud about that. I mean, gaming should be about those emotional moments that make you stand up, make you want to show the replay, make you want to tell your buddies, and that happens all over the place now. One thing I talk about a lot in the presentation, and I've talked about it here a lot, is hurdles. We had to remove hurdles from current gen because they were just too much of an exploit. It was too powerful. You could just shoot right up the middle and get tackled, but you'd have a gain. I mean, now you hurdle in front of a guy, he's going to flip you over. I mean, and these animations are absolutely spectacular. Immediately stand up, everyone claps. When they see it. Major moments. Mid-air collisions is the same way. I mean, throwing deep and just chucking it up there and having a big jumping catch happen is out of the question now. I mean, unless you've got a receiver that's great at that. It's all about the ratings. If you throw it up to Tyrone Calico or a receiver that's just great at jumping but not necessarily good at catching in traffic, he's going to get his clock cleaned. He's going to get flipped over, land on his head. The ball's going to go flying out. He may get hurt. And gang tackling has the same mechanic. I mean, if you're wrapped up, you as a defender can come in, dive in, and take clean up the hit. You can come in and hold down the strip ball button and rip the ball out, or try to, on top of the gang tackle. So there's really a whole lot of new control, a whole new wrinkle of control there. It's not just finishing out the play really slowly. It's really a lot of wow moments that can happen. I'm more excited about Madden 08 than in any year. I've been a Madden gamer my whole life. I've played every single one of them. I've worked here for 6-7 years now. This is the biggest jump we've ever had in gameplay, without a doubt. I mean, dynamic control, dynamic gang tackling, bringing back all the features, tons of new features, tons of new mechanics, lots of risk reward. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff there that we've never been able to accomplish with the hardware, and so I'm really proud about that. I think this is probably our best effort yet. I think we're going to win everyone back, all the community. We've listened to all the feedback. We've addressed it all to our best knowledge, the best we could. So I think this is the year. Xbox 360, PS3, both. Best animation we've had, best dynamic control, and it's coming out this fall.